So I was having a bit of trouble coming up with an idea to talk about this morning. For several reasons, but I won't go into those. But naturally, I decided to talk about creativity. This is actually an idea I think I'd had maybe recently, or this last week, I'm thinking. But it feels like there's a pretty solid strategy when it comes to creativity that involves, like, effectively you just saying, okay, well, I would like this type of book, I'll make that type of book. Or I would like this type of movie, I'll make that type of movie. But this whole idea is predicated on you kind of being one of the plebeians, right? One of the general population. So if you say that, oh, I would find this type of character relatable, that means probably other people in the general population will find that character relatable, right? If you say, I would find this premise intriguing, general population, probably going to find that premise intriguing. If you say, I would find this thing funny, general population, again, probably going to find that thing funny. And it's like a pretty solid strategy. It's a general rule, but it's predicated on you being a part of the general population. And it feels like what might have happened to some of Hollywood's creativity is that they've created this type of social elite, and that's kind of been the death of their creativity. So what happens to this whole creative strategy if you move into a mansion somewhere, in a gated community, you send your kids to a private school, you own 20 cars, you have your own personal chef, right? You're making yourself progressively less and less relatable to the general population, your everyday Dick and Jane, right? And it feels like that strategy no longer really works. You can't just say, okay, I would find this character relatable. That means the general population will find them relatable. Not necessarily. Probably more likely that the 1% of the 1% will find those characters relatable now. They're the ones that are going to find that premise intriguing, or that humor funny. Now, I imagine like a great author doesn't necessarily have to write from his own perspective, but it feels like that's kind of the exception to the rule quite often. Generally, people do write from their own perspective. And again, if their perspective is that of the top 1% of the 1%, like the social elite, well, I mean, I guess you have an audience technically, but it's a much more circumscribed audience. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please press the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want to. Have a happy weekend.